Hey everyone, this is Josh from Visto for another episode of Talent Tips. I am here with Japneet. Japneet, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Josh.
Can you start by just telling everybody a little bit about yourself and where you're working right now?
For sure, yeah. I'm currently working for Blue Ivy as a director of people and culture. Blue Ivy is basically a boutique agency, I like to call it. We focus in on employer branding, recruitment marketing, and organizational culture. We work with clients to create a world of people first workplaces. And really our goal is to help organizations showcase their culture and all the great work that they do in a truly meaningful way and for other individuals to see what makes them special.
Awesome.
Yeah, and prior to that, for about 6.5 years, 7 years, I've been in the tech space. So I know most of your listeners are probably within the tech space. So hopefully they can relate. But essentially, my sort of core area is focusing on core HR foundations, helping organizations scale.
Perfect. And I think that's a great background for our favorite and biggest question, which is question number two. Can you give 3 tips to aspiring immigrants who are looking to hopefully land their first job with a Canadian company?
Yeah, I think, having a good academic and educational background along with some work experience truly makes a difference. And it already puts you in a much better position compared to other applicants. It is a lot of hard work, I think, when you're applying, especially from out of the country, but it's definitely not impossible. If I had to sum it into 3 tips, I think the first one is probably finding a way to set yourself apart. It's great. You have the opportunity to look for mentor programs within Canada or globally that focus on international immigrants and moving to different countries. There are a number of virtual resources available within this space. Another place to look is likely like a tech meetup or any sort of meetup groups that are happening. A lot of them are virtual right now, just so you can start networking before you land. The second one I would say is connect with individuals on LinkedIn, very similar to the first one in terms of networking, but don't send out blank connections. So make sure you're tailoring your messaging to the individual that you're trying to connect with and what you're hoping to get out of that relationship or connection as well, just to set yourself apart from everyone else. And finally, this is my favorite, just working in the HR and recruitment space, is cater your resume to the positions that you're applying to. Recruiters don't like to sift through resumes that are 3+ pages long. And a lot of, every country has a different way of writing their CVs and resumes, but I think it's very important to just keep it short and concise. Consider listing just your key accomplishments as opposed to just the job responsibilities for each role. Recruiters typically know what it takes to be a software developer, for example, and so definitely just focusing on your key accomplishments and keeping it short and concise.
Awesome. Those are great tips. And you can kind of summarize them all to be go a little bit extra, right? Put in a little bit of
Exactly.
extra work. Do that networking, do that customization to give you the best chance. That's great advice.
Yeah, for sure.
Japneet, can you tell us a little bit if there are any roles that either Blue Ivy or maybe some of your clients are hiring for that you just want to highlight?
So at Blue Ivy, we're hiring creative directors and media lead roles. We're also hiring for employer branding consultants if anyone is interested being in that creative space. But I know my previous employer and lots of other companies within the Greater Toronto area are looking for great tech talent, especially. So definitely check out Indelli. There's a number of other companies within this area that are definitely hiring. But again, just having been at Indelli, I'll definitely highlight them. Yeah.
Awesome. And we'll provide links to the Blue Ivy careers page and Indelliant as well.
Okay.
Japneet, this has been great. Can you give a shout out to one person in the Canadian recruitment HR or talent space, and why do you want to shout them out?
Yeah, so I'll give a shout out to Yorgos Buderis. He's currently the head of talent at Forma. They're also growing at an extensive, like crazy rate right now. So if anyone is interested in checking on their page, highly recommend it. But Yorgos has over 15 years of recruitment experience, specifically in the tech space. He also offers career coaching services and resume writing services as well. Extremely down to earth and always willing to share tips on how you can excel as a candidate and kind of put your best foot forward. So I think he's definitely worth checking out.
Absolutely. Yorgos is a great guy. I've been lucky to know him for a few years now, so
Perfect.
I'll
There you go.
double
Yeah.
that. I'll double that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Japneet, thanks so much for coming on. If anybody wants to connect with you or maybe learn more, where do you recommend they go?
Yeah, definitely my LinkedIn page. I'm fairly active on LinkedIn, so that's a great place to start.
Awesome. We'll include a link to that in the description as well. Japneet, thank you again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Josh.